Hey, you guys, it's your girl Janelle with Cope with Janelle. That's Climb Over Problems Every Day. And I am climbing over a problem right now, actually, because my life is acting crazy on YouTube. So I wasn't able to go live on YouTube at 12:11 like I was planning. So I said, well, let me take it to the book. So your girl is back on the book right now, but have no fear. This video will be available on my YouTube channel, Cope with Janelle, uh, sometime this evening. Okay, this is episode 4 that we are doing today, entitled Keyboard Courage. Okay, yes, keyboard courage. So if you have any comments or questions, definitely type it in the chat. I'm also going to put my number in the chat, my Cope with Janelle line. Don't be trying to act like this is my personal line, because it's not. But this is my the Cope with Janelle phone number that is in the chat. If you have a question or a comment, definitely feel free to put that in the chat. I am taking my phone off of Do Not Disturb so that I can get those comments in here. And also, if you have a topic that you want to talk about in future episodes, please feel free to put that in the chat below or the Cope with Janelle line, okay? All right, awesome. So today we are talking about keyboard courage. Janelle, what are you talking about? All right, let's get into it for sure. Let's get into it right now. One of the things that we were talking about in our last episode was creating smart goals, particularly for the new year. You know, you get to the new year and you're reflecting on the year that has just closed out, and you start making some new goals for the upcoming year. And we were talking about making smart goals, goals that are specific, measurable, that are attainable, that are realistic or reliable, as well as timely. Okay. And so, one of the things that I had noticed, I was going through social media, and those who know me personally know that I also teach children's church, right? So, and teen church. This last Sunday at church, shout out to my church, Cedar Creek Community Church, whoop whoop, under the leadership of Pastor CJ Butler. Yes, the husband. Don't hate because I gave him a shout out on my podcast. Yes, I did. Hi, husband. Anyway, so I was doing teen church, and in teen church, we were talking about keyboard courage. What is that, Janelle? You know how when we on social media, we write all the things, and we get to type in and we say some things on social media that perhaps we may not otherwise say outside of social media, but we have the courage to say it while on social media. Yes. And so going back to the whole concept of the reflecting on the year past and going into the new year, I saw a lot of keyboard courage through like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Facebook in particular, with the older saints be snapping and chatting, and Instagram and Facebook, where they were talking about different situations that they were just like maybe happy to leave in the past, or relationships that they were happy to dissolve, or friendships that they was ready to get rid of, for various reasons, whether they be like political views or, you know, whatever the case may be, right? But a lot of the posts were not necessarily straightforward. They were speaking like in parables. I mean, let's leave the parables to Jesus. We need to, if we have a conflict or a resolution that needs to be brought about, we actually need to go head on and do that. And that's what I was talking about in teen church, was actually how to appropriately resolve conflict. So I thought, hey, you know what better of a topic than conflict resolution for the new year? We don't want to come into the new year with grudges. We don't want to come into the new year with just blocking people, because you know that's what the young folks do. They will block you real quick. I heard that in teen church as well. But actually with resolve, and resolve is not the same as reconciliation. So let's just talk about that right quick. Not that this is a church service or a Bible study, but I do want to give you like a reference, a biblical reference as to what I was even talking about with the teens. So I came out of the book of Matthew. I want to say the 18th chapter, but you know, I'm going to look it up right quick because I don't want to give y'all something wrong. I came out of, the 18th. Come on, Jesus. Yes. I came out of the 18th chapter, verse 15 through 20, which reads, "If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. But if they will not listen, take one or two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen even to the church, treat them as you would a pagan or a tax collector." You know how you treat the tax collector, the bill collectors when they call. Okay, I'm just saying. "Truly, I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, truly, I tell you that if 2 or of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I will be with them also." Okay, again, I say, I'm not trying to have like a church service or a Bible study here, but I always, in counseling sessions, when we talk about conflict and we talk about resolve, I always talk about the rubric. Giving people the rubric, giving a person an opportunity to get it right. Okay, so like the rubric for getting this situation under control as it pertains to the Bible. In Matthew chapter 18, it gave us the rubric. It says we're supposed to go to the person that we have the ought with. So I'm assuming that doesn't mean go to Instagram, Twitter, whatever all the social medias are, because that would be going to everybody outside of that person, right? But give that person an opportunity to hear you out. But it's important that when we go to that person, we go also having a standard or a guideline, so to speak, as to how to bring about such a conversation. So here's a stem that I often will use as just a starting point or a baseline to kind of teach and cultivate the language by which we want to bring forth an ought to another person, a conflict, okay? Not necessarily an argument, but a conflict. We're bringing forth a difference, something that has offended us, whatever the case may be. We're bringing that situation to the person, right? The stem that I use, the guideline that I teach is I feel ... because ... I need ... I'll write that down in the chat for you guys, okay? I feel because I need. And what you're simply doing is trying to fill in the in-between, okay? So for example, let's say you and a friend had an argument and y'all are not talking anymore because you felt like that friend was being fake because they didn't call you back when they said that they were going to call you back. And then you saw them post that they were out with somebody. Oh, that social media will get y'all in trouble. Yes, it will. Okay, so instead of just taking it to the social media and just blocking that person, or being like, oh, I see you, oh, you fake. Wait a minute, let's approach the person, because that's a part of the guideline that was given in the book of Matthew, right? Go to your brother or your sister who you have an ought with. Let's use the guideline I feel because I need. I feel, what is it that you feel? What's a feeling word that you can insert there? Am I feeling betrayed? Am I feeling neglected? Am I feeling disrespected? Am I feeling ignored? Let's go with ignored. I'm feeling ignored because my friend said that they were going to call me back and didn't. And I noticed that they are out having fun with other people. I need, now the I need is very interesting. The whatever it is that you need should directly address what it is that you're feeling. It should be something that would either alleviate the uncomfortable feelings that you may be having, or something that would support if it's a good feeling that you're having. Just depends on how you're using the stem, but it's supposed to address the feeling, not necessarily the why, the because, but it should address the feeling. So if I'm feeling ignored, what is it that I will need in order to not feel ignored? I'm feeling ignored because my best friend said they were going to call me back, didn't call me back. I'm noticing them on social media having fun with, XYZ people. I need a response back to my text. I need a call from my best friend. I need some reassurance that I'm not being ignored, that there was an intent to call me back at another time. Whatever it is that you need, it should address the feelings, okay? So we go to our brother or our sister based upon the rubric that was given from Matthew 18, verse 15 through 20, right? So the rubric says you take your ought to your brother or your sister. If they don't listen, if they're not trying to hear you say, well, I feel ignored, man, okay, you feel ignored. Like the world doesn't revolve around you. Because some people will respond back like that, right? Okay. The rubric in the Bible says that, like, go to two or more. Now, you're not taking every situation to the church, but a common friends, common people who would be able to offer help or insight to the situation. Not random people, not your amen corner. Common people that would be identified as some sound counsel that would be helpful for the situation. So maybe I go to, my two friends, or the friend that I noticed that they were with or whatever on social media, and I am also friends with them. We are a bunch of friends together. And I go to that person and I say, hey, you know what? I was feeling ignored. Yeah, I was out here hanging out and she said she was going to call me back. I tried to address the situation. It didn't really work out like that. I don't know if I'm tripping or not. Am I wrong for this? Am I tripping about this situation? No, girl, you're not tripping about this. Maybe we can kind of talk to her together or whatnot, because I'm sure I would have been looking at her side-eye too if I did that, ... Okay. Hey, listen, friend, the other day when we were hanging out, I didn't realize that you were supposed to call or hang back out with so-and-so. Like, I know that y'all have talked about it. This really did bother them. That friend could, at that point in time, say, oh, you know what? I didn't even realize that it was that big of a deal. I did not realize that it bothered them that much. Let me take a second look at self. But if they're like, okay, no, I'm not dealing with that. You so clingy, you too much, you doing too much, you too extra. If that is how the other friend is coming back at you, We don't, in 2025, we're not begging people for friends. Hello, somebody. I hope you heard it. Hope you heard it here first. 2025, we're not begging people for friends. Be about your father's business and do your kingdom work without begging for friends. The people that are supposed to be in your life, those who are supposed to be there, will be there. But we are giving people, though, we are in 2025 communicating effectively to try to aim for a resolve. Whether that resolve leads to reconciliation or just laying it to rest, either way, you will have a resolve. Okay? Remember, the mind is always set up to get a resolve. Like the mind is always trying to figure out the why behind a thing or an answer to a thing. It is when we have a rubric to solve issues that we are most successful in our attempts. But a rubric does not guarantee the one attempting the project an A. It only gives them a guideline. Remember, when we were in school, you would get a rubric for whatever project you were doing. And based upon that project, you would, I don't know, follow the guidelines on there. You can get an A. But if you strayed from the guidelines and you just was out here rogue doing your own thing, you are risking not getting it right or doing what is expected. Okay. Here's a story, or this is something that I often use to try to convey what I mean to people when I say that rubrics are necessary. So coming down south, y'all who know me know that I'm not originally from South Carolina, from New York, right? So coming down south, I noticed that and being married to a pastor, unfortunately, one of the things that we have to deal with is the whole circle of life, and death is a part of the circle of life, right? So funerals are not necessarily something that I don't see more often than I would like to, right? But what I've noticed down here is that when there is a death, someone has passed away, that people sit in people's houses. People come over to the houses and they just sit there for days and days and days, leading up to the funeral and stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? People just sit up in the houses. And it was brought to my understanding so I could have a better understanding why this happens. It's a form of support. It's a form of, or a way for people to show you that they care and that they love you and that they're here to support you, right? And so, but I could never understand that. Like, okay, so people come over with staple items. You got to have those staple items. You got the chicken, you got the cake, you got the check sodas or whatever, I'm like, man, what is this? So it wasn't until there was a death more close to home in which I said, okay, I'm going to figure this out. So I would go to the house of the bereaved, and the person, the owner of the house, the daughter of the one that had gone on, I was looking at them, the two daughters. They were hosting. They were just kind of walking around and doing things. And I'm like, man, they're just doing all this stuff for the people that are here. I wonder if they're getting whatever it is that their needs are met. And so I went up to one of them and I said, hey, I'm just checking on you to see how you doing. And she was like, I'm okay. I said, well, what is it that you actually need in this moment? Or how can I support? No, I asked her, what is it that you need right now? Because I see you doing a lot of stuff, but it looks like you need something. You need help or something. And she said, I need stamps for, she just started to go off a list. She was like, I think she was waiting for someone to be like, what is it that you may need? Not necessarily just offering the words of condolences, but like, okay, what is it? She's like, I need stamps, I need a wig, I need a new thing for a new dress for mama, I need this, that. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I went out there, the people who are sitting, I said, okay, let me ask, can you go to the store and get this? Can you go get this? Okay, I'm going to go out and get this. And then that was when we came back with all the items, or, doing whatever the tasks were, that seemed to be the most relieved, or I won't dare not say like calm, but the most, supported perhaps that she may have felt in that moment, in that particular moment. And then it dawned on me. I said, well, the people that were here earnestly thought that they were supporting just by sitting and being physically sharing time and space. However, that was not what was needed. But I do not fault the people. I do not fault anyone, because we do things a lot times out of just norms and traditions. But it was because they were not provided the rubric. The rubric. There's no possible way that they could have gotten it right because there was no rubric. No rubric. So yeah, they thought that was like really acing it, because I done came every day. I came 5 days in a row, 6, 7 days in a row. I was sitting in your house. But that wasn't what they needed. Bringing it back to conflict. Lest we give the person who has committed the offense against you the opportunity to reconcile, if that is what is desired, but really to bring forth a resolve and be able to choose whether to support or not support your feelings that you present. They will not necessarily get it right. The conflict will not necessarily just go away. We can't in 2025 have all of these elephants in the room that we do not address, because that really only perpetuates internalizing feelings of discomfort, of malice, resentment in certain stages. And all of these things fester, and they come out in different ways. They come out in physical ways. They come out through health issues. They come out in how we communicate with people, even people that have nothing to do with the conflict. They come out in how you deal with your children, or how you deal with your neighbors, how you deal with your friends, your family members, So it's so important for us to be a little bit more assertive, not aggressive, not passive, but assertive, clear, confident, concise in our approach when we bring our ought to our brother. And if we do involve other people, that they be essential members that would bring forth a positive change. We give people the opportunity to resolve by providing them a rubric. But remember, the rubric only provides them with an opportunity to bring forth a resolve. It doesn't guarantee that that's what they're going to choose, okay? This year, we're going to try to do it a little different. We're going to come back off the keyboard courage, because that doesn't help to resolve things. If we never bring the issue, if we never bring the ought to your brother or sister, you rob them as well as yourself, of a resolve to a conflict. And keep in mind, a conflict doesn't mean an argument, okay? Conflict is just merely, the difference of perspectives that has brought about a challenge. An argument, that's heated. There's some hard feelings there, some hot emotions coming about. But a conflict can be resolved within just a few exchanges back and forth. I challenge you all to perhaps take the courage from the keyboard and put that courage into an actual one-on-one with the person that you have the art with. And let's see how that works out, okay? All right, good people. Again, it's your girl Janelle with Cope with Janelle. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4, Keyboard Courage. Stay tuned for our next podcast episode, which is next Wednesday at 12:11 p.m. 12:11 p.m. That gives you time to go to your break room, warm up your lunch from the dinner that you had last night, or gives you a second to run down to the snack room, get you some chips or whatever from that vending machine, come on back to the computer and get your daily fill of coping. That is climbing over problems every day. All right, good people, until next time, be blessed, and I will holla back. Bye.